Good evening everybody, and welcome to the AGM of Studley Operatic Society. It is Wednesday evening, the 21st of October 2020. Obviously this is a different way of delivering the AGM, but we all know why, due to the COVID pandemic. So we're going to follow the agenda, and I've sent it out to all the members along with the minutes of the last meeting, the last AGM meeting, and the accounts. Okay, normally we'd start with apologies, but obviously that's not really relevant this year. So we'll move on to the minutes of the last AGM, which was from the 16th of October last year. These have been proposed by Sarah Leck as a true record and seconded by Sophie Hill. Right, we're going to move on with the Chair's address now. I rather feel like the Queen at 3 o'clock on Christmas Day here, speaking to you all, and hopefully it'll be clear what I present to you. So, hello everybody. I'd like to welcome you all to this very different AGM, which I've already mentioned. Since the lockdown in March this year, it's been a very difficult and challenging year for us all and for the Society. It's profoundly noticeable that we've missed out not only on our anticipated wonderful show Guys and Dolls that was nearly ready to go, but also the postponement of Kinky Boots. In addition, we've all missed our social aspect of meeting together, weekly rehearsals, social gatherings, going to the pub after rehearsals, and being part of such a great group. I'd like to say a huge thank you to Norma, Kevin, Alison and Deb for all their hard work as the production team for Guys and Dolls. That took us nearly to the show week, but we were just pipped at the post by COVID. Also the support from the stage crew, those Jackie and Roy opening up Woodrow every night, and Ron locking it up again, Carol and Ray for doing the teas, and everyone who always goes above and beyond for us all. Sadly, we've lost Eileen Parish, who was a member of SOS recently. The Society has sent their condolences to Keith and the rest of the family. Eileen was on the committee part of the time I was on, and she was a lovely lady, as most of you know, and she will be sadly missed. So rest in peace, Eileen. I'd like to thank everybody on the committee: Steve, Jez, Elaine, Myra, Matt, Sophie, John and Laura. Jackie Perry, who was co-opted, and Carol Corden as well. Carol Corden is stepping down as a co-opted, and she's just recovering from a hip replacement, and she's doing very well. But thank you, Carol, for all you've done as well. We've had a lot of hard work as the committee, even though we haven't had a show to deal with. But obviously we had to sort out all the refunding of tickets, which was quite a big learning curve for most of us. Myra sorting out the NODA insurance claim, because obviously we'd spent a lot up to the point where we had to cancel the show. Then we had the difficult decision of cancelling and postponing Kinky Boots for next year. We thought long and hard about it, but now we're in October, I think we definitely made the right decision, as it's so unclear going forward what's going to happen next year in 2021. Good news, as most of you probably know, is the Palace Theatre has been awarded £173,000, so hopefully it'll keep going for us for when we can actually perform there again. Next year, if all is well, we're hoping to start 42nd Street. We've swapped round Kinky Boots and 42nd Street because we couldn't get Kinky Boots next year, so we had to put it back a year, but that has been confirmed. So what we're hoping is, if the country is kind of back to some normality, that we can begin in early spring doing dance workshops to take us through to September, when then auditions and starting rehearsals for 42nd Street will commence. So if that happens, I hope lots of you will come along, try out your tap skills and dancing skills. You might be a beginner, you might be intermediate, or you might be advanced, but it'll be good fun. And we're going to be very well provided for, having Donna Rhodes as our choreographer. Okay, so this year Myra, our treasurer and president, has given her P45 in as treasurer. We've chatted to Myra and she thinks she's done the role for well over 30 years. And we're so grateful to her, and we are going to miss her, but she is going to stay on as president. So that's great, and that means she can come to our meetings and still bake her scones and bring her wine, so that'll be good. She was always scrupulous with her accuracy, and she's very happy to support the next person that comes into the role until they're completely up and running. So thank you for that, Myra. Also, John Reeves is stepping down from the committee. He's enjoyed his year, but for various reasons he can't carry on at this time. So thank you, John, to you also for all you've done as a very valuable member. The remainder of the committee are happy to stand again, and anybody else who would like to have been nominated and seconded, I will read out shortly. Okay. The committee's also put together a social programme, because although we can't meet normally, we've devised 4 social gatherings that hopefully can be socially distanced, so that it's some way of us all getting together again. So we hope they'll be popular, inclusive, and I'm going to put those up on the Cast and Crew Facebook page. But in essence, I can tell you what they're going to be. So in November, on the 11th, Steve Hyde, bless him, with all his skills doing Zoom, is going to run another quiz. So you'll get information about how to access that if you wish to join that. On December the 11th, we are hoping to get together those that are interested to go around Studley and sing carols. We're most likely going to be outside, but we're going to see if we can find some venues such as Studley Castle, maybe they would allow us in. So if people are interested, if they'd like to get in touch with us nearer the time. We also thought it'd be a nice thing to either wear Christmassy hats or even Christmas onesies to go around Studley, just to get in the festive mood and have a bit of fun. On the 16th of January, we're going to have a winter walk. Don't know what the weather will be like at that point, but we'll be in touch again about that close to the time. And on the 17th of February, Cassie has very kindly agreed to do like a Keep Fit dance workshop. Again, if we can't meet in a venue as such, then she'll do it online. I think you've all seen the questionnaire. Many of you have returned your opinions. Sophie put it together, and it was really a good idea to get a response, because it's very difficult to know what people think. What are we doing right? What are we doing wrong? The committee has a responsibility to choose the show, check we've got enough funding for it, appoint the production team, the musical director, etc. And although that is exciting and we love doing it, for people that don't know, choosing the show is the most difficult bit, because one, you have to find out if the licence is available. And now when you apply for a licence, you have to pay £500 face up straight away, and that's non-refundable normally. So it's quite difficult, because you have to then do a quick budgeting to know that you can actually afford to do it. So we do like to listen to hear what people would like us to do, but just for people to realise that it is quite a complex matter to put in place. Right, so in response to the questionnaire we sent out, we had 24 respondents. Most people thought the subs was at the right price. Somebody suggested discount for pensioners, students and juniors. We do actually discount students and juniors anyway, but we'll look at the suggestions. The choice of production, 50% were happy with what we've chosen, 50% were sometimes happy. Most enjoyed Spamalot and looking forward to Kinky Boots, so that's good. People wanted a mix of contemporary and classic shows and understood the need for big sellers. There were some concerns that the shows were quite male heavy, and that can just be a fact of how some shows are, but again we look at that when we're looking forward. Attendance period, most agreed that we needed really good attendance in the run-up to a show. A few mentioned the need to consider exceptional circumstances, which we'll discuss as a committee. Marketing, mixed responses. There have been good promotions, such as the Spamalot trailer was highlighted. We do need to get better at this, although sometimes the committee lacks some skill set. So something again we're going to look at when we talk about the new committee. Selling tickets, people said it depended on the show. People seem to say they would buy tickets, or it's easy to sell tickets if they knew the show and liked the show, and that is always a consideration. Most agreed that about £18 a ticket was fair. The committee, most respondents said they were happy with the committee and that it represented the views of members. They noted, some people mentioned, they noted that members aren't always sure of what the committee does. So we will look at that and announce so people are clear. You can always have access to a copy of the Constitution which sets out exactly what our role is and how we operate. Others said they would like more opportunities to have members' views considered in decisions such as show choice. So again we'll reconsider that. We have done that and put up, say, write down shows you'd like to do. But as I mentioned before, even though sometimes we really want to do a show, sometimes we just can't. Events and socials, most people enjoyed the vintage night and the quiz, and some people gave ideas of future events. Somebody suggested a buddy system for new members. There was lots of praise for the warm atmosphere of the society, so that was good. I wanted to say a big thanks to Steve Hyde for organising the Zoom meetings, particularly for the committee, and some of the quizzes that some of you might have done as well. He's got that technical expertise, and while we couldn't meet, it proved invaluable. He also does the minutes of the meetings now, and they are sent to us before we get home. So Steve, thank you very much. Finally, all I can say is that I can't wait to get back to rehearsals and normality, and I think a lot of you feel the same. But wish you all a safe few extra months while this goes on, and hopefully we'll be back together soon rather than later. Right, moving on now to the President's Address, which is Myra Hughes. Myra's asked me if I'd read this out for her, which I'm happy to do. So, she says, "Good evening everyone. Normally, she would be speaking to you personally. Now, COVID-19 dictates to us what we can or cannot do, so nothing is normal. I would be normally congratulating the company on yet another great show, but thanking our talented production team, Kevin, Ali, Norma and Deb, on their tireless dedication to SOS and including of course our stage manager Andy. This of course is all still relevant, all the hours put in to bring the members together to hopefully achieve the result our production team envisaged. Members had really good rehearsals, with our usual great atmosphere, the difference being that Guys and Dolls became the show that never was. This of course does not detract from the commitment that everybody put in. Our chairperson Lorraine, heading our committee, her enthusiasm and energy brushes off on us all. SOS members and all who helped in any way to put together what would have been a great show. Now we try to move on, not knowing when we can all meet up again. I miss everyone. I feel SOS as such a family. Thank you to all who have joined as members for this next year. It is very much appreciated. We have to hang in there and let everyone know that we are still a society hoping to perform sometime soon. Finally, look after yourselves and keep safe. Fond regards, Myra. So now I have the presentation of this year's accounts. I have sent a copy out to every member on their email address that we have, so I hope you've had it to look at. I've also put that if you had any comments, could you please contact Myra, and I've put Myra's email address there. So there hasn't been a lot of activity because we didn't get to perform our show. But at the end of this financial year, we have £25,298 in the bank. We have some more monies to come in, but that puts us in good stead when we can start our next show. So thank you for doing that, Myra. And Myra is speaking to the auditor to take up next year's responsibility also. Right, so now we get on to the election of the new committee taking us forward. So the chairperson who's been nominated is myself again, proposed by Elaine Lawrence and seconded by Steve Hyde. The treasurer, Ray Coquette, has put his name forward and proposed by Carol Coquette and seconded by me. So welcome Ray to the committee. Secretary Elaine Lawrence is staying on. She has been proposed by Jackie Perry and seconded by Ron Hunt. Then in the general committee we have Sophie Hill, who's been proposed by Steve Hyde and seconded by Matt Bridgewater. Steve Hyde has been proposed by myself and seconded by Elaine Lawrence. Laura Dukes has been proposed by Sophie Hill and seconded by Jeremy Dobbins. Matt Bridgewater has been proposed by Laura Dukes and seconded by Sophie Hill. Jeremy Dobbins has been proposed by Matt Bridgewater and seconded by Laura Dukes. Kieran Holt has been proposed by Jeremy Dobbins and seconded by Beth Garden. So we haven't received any other nominations, so the amount of spaces are 9, and that is the 9. Carol Coquette has offered to be co-opted for certain functions, so we thank you, Carol, for that. But we do have a skill set shortage that I mentioned earlier, and it's particularly around marketing and publicity. And what we need is someone with a working knowledge to build online marketing campaigns, because it's probably where we might fall down a little bit and we could do with that improvement. So if anybody has those skills and would like to help us out, you don't have to come to every committee meeting. It might be a piece of work and it doesn't mean that you're involved all the time, so it might, don't want it to sound onerous. But if you have those skills and you could help us out, we'd be very grateful. So now we go on to the awards. So we're going to start with our two main ones, which are the Dan Sanders Award and the Jim McCalman Award. Both people were members of Studley Operatic Society for many years. So we'll start with Dan. Dan's award was set up by his parents after Dan sadly lost his life a few years ago. And this is for somebody who's been inspirational during the year in our rehearsals. So the nominations were Debbie Mitchell, Steve Hyde, Ellie Langdon and Andy Whitcomb. And the winner was Debbie Mitchell. Debbie joined us not that long ago and she's had quite a profound effect on the society. Her choreography skills have been fantastic. She's so patient and puts such a lot into it and is a fantastic member of the society. So very well done to you, Debbie. The next one, Jim McCalman Award. This is for somebody who's kind of gone over and above really within the society. And sometimes these people are kind of not overlooked, but people don't realise how much they do. So the nominations for this one this year are Sophie Hill, Mara Hughes, Elaine Lawrence, Matt Bridgewater, myself, Deborah Mitchell, Carolyn Ray Coquette and Steve Hyde. And the winner was Sophie Hill. As you know, Sophie is my daughter, so I know how much work goes on behind the scenes, but she's done a lot, especially with our concerts, which everybody who's been part of has really enjoyed and has brought quite a lot of extra funding as well into the society. So thank you, Sophie, and carry on. So the following awards are our NODA Awards, and these are for long-term commitment. So we hope that these are accurate. We've gone through our records and we think they are. If anybody feels they've been left out or it's not accurate, then please let us know. So those who are entitled to the 10-year NODA Award are Sophie Hill, Lisa Smith and Dylan Faulkner. And we have a small gift for you each and a certificate that we will be delivering. The 15-year award is to Alison Hirons and Anne Healy. And we'd like to move on to the Life Honorary Membership Award. And that this year is to a woman who has put in so much for us and is sadly stepping down as our musical director. So Norma Kift, we'd like to offer you a Life Honorary Membership of Studley Operatic Society and hope you'll still come and be with us and join in. And we've thoroughly enjoyed you being our musical director, even if you've scared us sometimes. So thank you, Norma. We're also doing a special retirement award to Myra as our treasurer, because she can't remember exactly how many years, like I said earlier, but it's certainly in excess of 30 years, which is a huge commitment to a society. So thank you again, Myra, and we'll be presenting you with that award sometime soon. So thank you very much. We're moving on now to the end, to the date of next year's AGM. However, we've decided not to book this date as yet. It will be in October, but we're going to wait and see with what's going on in the world, where it's going to be. Then we will set a date and put it up on our website. But it will be October 2021. So it's just for me to say thank you very much for all listening. Staying supportive of Studley Operatic. Please come along to some of the social events and let's hope we can all get back again as soon as possible. Thanks very much. Bye bye.